This episode is brought to you by Ingredion. The Astrea Allulose is a rare sugar that does not contribute to total or added sugars, contains 0.4 calories per gram, and provides functional bulking and browning in bakery products such as breads, muffins, cakes, and cookies. Astrea Allulose is 70% as sweet as sugar and helps maintain moisture and texture over shelf life. For samples, contact Ingredion at ingredion.us/Astrea-Allulose. Alright, who's up for a sweet episode today? You know, sugar-free technology has been around for a long time now. It's catered to the diabetes market after all, right? Wrong. The trend we are seeing in sugar-free and sugar reduction right now is coming from the paleo, keto, Whole30 diet trends and the new legislation into reporting added sugars. If your customer is not liking that added sugar line on your nutritional facts, it's time for you to think about cutting your sugar in your formulations. So, easy, right? Wrong again. Many bakers get sugar reduction wrong because they don't fully understand the function of sugar in baked goods. Today, we will cover some issues with sugar reduction, and to make it even sweeter, I've invited Eric Shinsato onto this episode to help me out. After all, he is the master of sugar reduction. Together, we will solve your sugar reduction problems today. To understand how to replace sugar, we need to understand what is the function of sugar in baked goods. In bakery products, the main functions of sugar are sweetening. This is the reason why sugar is used in the first place. Sweetening is its primary function. The rest of this list covers its tertiary function. Sugar acts as a humectant. Because of its hygroscopic nature and its love affair with water, it binds to water very well, reducing water activity and improving anti-mold properties, therefore making it a shelf life enhancer. Sugar is a fabulous tenderizer, making the texture of cakes softer, shorter, and more palatable. Sugar brings flavor and color to baked goods via the Maillard and caramelization process. The absence of sugar would result in a pale-looking product for you. Together with egg whites, sugar is a fabulous foaming agent and is responsible for the airy, light, spongy texture. And as a bulking agent, it provides the volume and total solids content for your formulation. Lastly, sugar assists yeast in fermentation and results in a faster, more robust fermentation process. Now that we understand what sugar does, you should know how to replace sugar, but making sure that your replacement strategies involve those tertiary functions as well. Now, there is a new sugar replacement technology on the market called Allulose. That is really interesting. I've asked Eric to explain this new technology.
Allulose is a rare sugar, meaning it occurs in nature but only in small quantities. However, it can be produced commercially and is currently available for use in food products. It is designed to replace sugar in food applications and can be used to do the same in baked goods. Allulose is approximately 70% as sweet as sugar and has a clean, sweet taste. It is about 0.4 calories per gram and can help to reduce calories as well in finished product applications. It provides many functional properties as well, including browning, bulking, and freeze-point depression depending on your application. It is also used at specific levels based on GRAS filings, and there are limits based on the application. So for baked goods, it can be used up to 10% in the finished application. It provides sensory aspects as well, including what we call a sweet brown note, which can enhance flavor of baked goods. It also doesn't linger in terms of sweetness as many other types of sweeteners do. Allulose is available in two different forms, crystalline or powder, as well as liquid, so depending on your application, either can be used to suit the application and the functional characteristics that each will bring.
Remember what I said previously that sugar acts as a humectant? So what's a humectant? It's a molecule that loves grabbing water tightly. You use humectants in pie fillings and sauces to keep the moisture in. Now, because it's a water-grabbing molecule, guess what does it do? It keeps a strong hold on the water, reducing its movement and activity. Therefore, it reduces water activity. So go to our water activity page to learn more about it. What happens when you reduce water activity? You reduce the chances of molding because the mold spores would have no water to feed on. Do you get the connection now? Sugar equals reduced water activity, which then reduces molding. Therefore, when you remove sugar, water activity goes up, increasing water available for mold activity. I hope that explains why your products with less sugar molds faster than the ones that are sweeter.
Allulose itself is not a new ingredient, but has not found a place up until recently. It wasn't until April of last year, 2019, when FDA changed its ruling in terms of how allulose can be labeled. So now it does not count towards sugars, which made it a game changer in the world of sugar reduction, as well as calorie reduction. How do consumers perceive allulose? Well, that's a good question. Our initial consumer insights work yielded some rather interesting results. When asked, only 10% of the consumers surveyed were aware of what allulose was. When given a brief description of allulose, the acceptance level of allulose as a sweetener increased to 50%. When given a more detailed description and the reason for using allulose as a sugar reduction ingredient, the acceptance level jumped to almost 75%. It's also interesting to note that of the different applications that were using allulose, we found that cookies had the highest level of acceptance at over 79%. So do consumers accept allulose? Well, maybe our second round of consumer insights work will give us that answer. There is a browning issue in many reduced sugar and sugar-free baked goods, mainly due to the fact that the ingredients used to replace sugar can provide the bulk, but may not provide the same level of browning that sugar does. Allulose is a reducing sugar, and therefore it creates browning and color development in baked goods. Using a basic sugar cookie recipe, we were able to reduce the amount of sugar by 25%, and as you can see, along with the sugar reduction, we were able to develop a deeper, more appealing color than the control. So when using allulose in baked goods, not only can you reduce sugar, but you can also enhance the color and make the product more visually appealing. When replacing or substituting ingredients in a formulation, there is always the possibility that will have an effect on the finished product and possibly even the process itself. So when replacing sugar with allulose, there are some considerations that you need to take into account. One of them is browning. As you can see, in this cake application, with the control on the left, the product with allulose at a 25% sugar reduction level is considerably darker in color. So again, the application will dictate the usage level and whether or not the finished product will be acceptable. But in terms of process, in the applications that we have worked on, that being cookies and cakes, we have not seen a significant change in the finished product characteristics or the processing of the product itself. So in the cookie example, The dough consistency is actually very similar to the control, though a little bit softer but still very close. In cake application, though, we did notice that the batter viscosity is slightly thinner, but also the cake volume is a little bit higher and the crumb structure is a little bit more open. So again, depending on the finished product attributes, these may enhance the product or they could cause certain issues that you'll have to deal with when using different ingredients. When faced with the challenge of reducing sugar in baked goods, one ingredient may or may not get you to the desired sugar reduction levels that are required. Allulose is a great ingredient in that it is very low calorie and is not labeled as sugars, and is a great substitute for sugar itself. It provides the bulk and many functional properties that can be used to enhance or replace sugar in many applications. However, it is limited to only 10% in baked goods, so in most cases you'll need to replace the remaining sugar with other ingredients. We call those functional build-back components and can be comprised of several types of ingredients that can be used in combination to reduce sugar. Some of these include sugar alcohols, which are our go-to in terms of sugar reduction, but may not be label friendly. Other ingredients that have come into play are things like soluble fibers and other ingredients that provide bulk but don't count as sugars as well as calories in itself. If you need to build back sweetness, in this case, stevia products are widely used in this space. Stevia can provide the sweetness that you need, but not bring any of the off notes that are typically associated with some of the more artificial sweeteners that can be used as well. So, depending on the labeling and your consumer interest, there are a wide variety of ingredients that can be used to replace sugar. So again, it may be a combination of ingredients that will provide the solution to give you the optimum level of sugar reduction as well as the best finished product at a reduced sugar level.
When replacing sugar, don't forget to use ingredients that help with lowering the water activity as well. As Eric mentioned, the functional build-back components of sugar alcohols and the addition of soluble fiber can help reduce water activity, both of which can be obtained from ingredient. So give them a call. The other things that you can do is to add hygroscopic ingredients like wheat protein isolates or increase your bakeouts to reduce water activity. However, these would also result in other texture problems if you're not careful. Don't forget, watch our episode on mold previously to learn about the techniques you can use to achieve a longer shelf life. Lastly, don't forget, packaging could be your key success when formulating with lower sugar formulas. Thanks for listening in today. This episode is brought to you by Ingredient. The Astrea Allulose is a rare sugar that does not contribute to total or added sugars, contains 0.4 calories per gram, and provides functional bulking and browning in bakery products such as breads, muffins, cakes, and cookies. Astrea Allulose is 70% as sweet as sugar and helps maintain moisture and texture over shelf life. For samples, contact Ingredient at ingredient.us/Astrea-Allulose. Alright, that's all for this episode of how to approach sugar reduction. If you have more questions, you can reach Ingredient at their email below. And if you need any help with your mold and shelf life issues, check out our Baker Help page. Try a one-on-one consultation with one of our experts and we will get you there. Don't forget to subscribe and like this episode and share it with your coworkers. Till the next episode, bakers, make it sweet!